Okay, so in this session, my more focus will be like it will be a short session of 15-20 minutes, I will say, not more than that. Okay, and in these 15-20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever it will be, my focus will be how to enrich your newspaper in your answer writing. Okay, when I say newspaper, I mean the current affairs magazine as well. Because question will not come like that, na, ki tell me the features of this. It might be a case that one part or there. How when the question says illustrate, uh, with substantiate with the logical arguments, give suitable examples. In such context, your newspaper reading the way you read, okay, it helps a lot. Okay, so basically, when we think of these things, na, it's our daily life. When we inculcate these things in our daily life, only then we are able to implement in the answer writing section. Suppose news comes, Pradhan Mantri Modi ji launched certain scheme. Now my mind should work. What is the reason behind the this scheme? How it can be corrected to GS1? How to GS2? How to GS3? How to GS4? This way only. I hope Oja sir is visible to everyone. है ना? With all due respect, let him go away. Now, see, this newspaper, see from the perspective of each and every paper. Okay, you need not to be worried about from the GS1, GS2, GS4. See, right now you guys are in the situation. I have, if the recording is started or not. Let me check. Hey, wait a minute.
Yes, sir, started.
Okay, fine. So basically, you are in the situation where you have covered a great amount of syllabus. Okay, basically 4 magazines that I asked you to cover. You are well with the GS2, GS3. GS4 we have done, and GS1 is like prelims specific that we have done in the base building era only. Okay. So in such cases, what we have to discover while reading newspaper, we have to interlink our syllabus. Okay. Ab how to interlink basically? When it come to the Biden push to the China to resume military ties. Okay, Biden resumes military ties with China. It becomes important for the GS2. Now, that's why I would. Now you have to look about the certain keywords here. Okay, how to look for the GS2 kind of keywords? Sometimes the keyword will give you the answer of n number of things. Okay, here nothing to be specific, but Asia Pacific Economic Corporation Summit. Again a keyword. Could take place at entry level from senior level to the tactical operational level. ये भी अपने आप में keywords है. Every level from senior leadership to the tactical operational. Senior leadership जहाँ पे we say कि we will work together. Tactical operational means how to implement that understanding. Okay. Now, specifically when he mentions the word Indo-Pacific in the last. Okay. जब आप यहाँ पे Indo-Pacific देख रहे हैं, तो it's like if China US coming closer, then Indo Pacific में इंडिया का बहुत बड़ा स्टेक है. India has a great stake in Indo Pacific. You have to be mindful of that as well. This is the GS2 perspective. Clear है? I shall be pausing over here. Let me see if tab works. Else I will continue this way. ठीक है, तो one by one let's discuss this. Now, firecracker ban flouted in Delhi. Air quality worsens a day after Diwali. ठीक है, जब आप बेसिकली इस पेज की बात कर रहे हैं, when we are talking about this page, this is related with the your GS3. Okay. GS3. At the same time, ethics, environmental ethics. ठीक है, दो पर्सपेक्टिव आगे. You can use this example anywhere. Okay. Biggest hospital in the Gaza out of fuel, normal room floor is operational theater, Philistine envoy. Again, humanitarian perspective. Apart from being ethical point of view, what else you can think of? Can anyone please like to chip in? Ethical point of view के अलावा क्या सोच पा रहे हैं आप?
Strategic
Economic
oil reserve.
One by one, please. First Pratik, then Brijesh.
Sir, I can relate it to the economic, the strategic oil reserves that countries maintain.
Good enough. In tough times, we need the same. Yes, Brijesh.
Failure in governance.
Obviously, वहां वॉर चल रही है तो देयर इज फेलियर. कुछ नया लाते यार मार्केट में. गोपाल.
Sir, violation of Geneva Convention.
Something new. Shreya. Geneva
Social
Convention, GS paper 2.
सोशल इश्यूज हो गया, माइग्रेशन हो गया, आईआर हो गया और वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी पे असर हो गया उसका. माइग्रेशन एक मोर इम्पोर्टेंट मतलब ये.
How can you relate hospital वाला migration से? Not
मतलब
connecting at all.
नहीं बॉर्डर क्रॉस कर रहे हैं ना, तो उस पे क्या कहते हैं उस रीजन की
अरे
वजह से लोग बॉर्डर.
हॉस्पिटल का इशू है ब्रो. हॉस्पिटल का हाउ कैन यू कनेक्ट टू द माइग्रेशन? स्टिक टू बेसिक्स.
ओके.
Not connected at all. Simple. A word I have said a number of times. Critical infra. Your hospital is your critical infra. Internal security. What if Kasab instead of Taj Palace has entered into any big hospital? Say Breach Candy or Beach Candy, whatever it is. Say AIMS. Are you able to relate what I want to pursue in your mind?
यस सर.
Okay. Then leave it aside. Day after, later rescue work on 40 still trapped in the Utkarsh tunnel. This is nothing but apt example for the GS3. What is GS3 here? Disaster management. ठीक है. When you read about it, last page you will find somewhere State Disaster Response Force NDRF alongside police local services are carrying out rescue operation. Now people will ask me, sir, how can you come up with a solution so fast in your GS4 case study classes? This is the reason. When I read this, I do not think, okay, fine, it needs to be ignored. I think this is of a material that I need to replicate in my case study. समझ में आ रहा है आप लोगों को? नहीं नहीं आ रहा कृति?
आ रहा है सर।
ओके ओके सर, ऐसे ऐसे हिल रहा था तो इसलिए मैंने पूछा। ठीक है, देन द course of action, the way we think, they have already mentioned. First step, establishing communication with the trapped men, confirm whether they were safe. सपोज वी आर इंश्योर्ड कि मैं उन्हें 40 घंटे से पहले नहीं निकाल सकता, एंड 48 घंटे से दबे भूख से मर जाएं वो, माई ऑल एफर्ट्स आर इन देयर टू फर्दर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन. केस स्टडी अप्रोच. अब what a idiot aspirant will do after this session, he will try to note it down. You have to understand rather than noting it down. Only 2-3 words. Course of action, establish communication, ensuring safety, food packets. Okay, fine. Don't try to make notes from it. Clear? Delhi officer, defense chief secretary takes aim at Aam Aadmi Party, dirty politics. Again, it can be question over the bureaucratic neutrality. ठीक है, ethics, bureaucratic neutrality. Kavya, for you, it is an apt example for the public administration, political, executive relationship. Amit, cash for query row, criminal gives party post to the Mahua. Cash for query. Personal interest versus professional interest. Corruption. Ethical dilemma. Crony capitalism as well. You're using state of apparatus for your further questions. Okay, yes, Shrey. Oh, sorry, Gopal.
इस वाले एग्जांपल में इनका नाम यूज कर सकते हैं, मतलब मेंशन करके डायरेक्टली, या नाम को अवॉइड करें?
इसमें
महुआ मोइत्रा वाले कैश फॉर क्वेरी
अभी things have not been proved. Once things have been proved, parliamentary panel says कि okay, suspend this particular lady, you can use. What our law says, everyone is innocent till found culprit.
ओके सर, थैंक
ठीक है. For father who chanted such and such, it's time for Rachan. Okay, nothing as such. Firecracker ban flouted in the Delhi air quality versions. Of firecracker ban flouted in Delhi. Simple thing, gap between theory and practice. Integrity was not there. Okay, integrity was not there. When you're not following your law, you are not person with integrity. ठीक है. These kind of, I will say, well, diabetes and that all, it can be avoided. These kind of readings you should not go. Just go from the scientific perspective कि SNT के questions में किस type के questions आ सकते हैं. Delhi sees higher PM levels than last Diwali. Okay, a PM not a prime minister, then you start comparing prime minister and the chief minister. It is not like that. Out of 24 monitoring, 21 recorded higher PM 2.5. Particulate matter है ये. ठीक है, I hope remember everyone from your next, sorry, Shankar reading. Clear है? The city's most polluted location was Nehru Nagar. अब ये सारी चीजें not that important, but particulate matter एक बार थोड़ा सा देख लो. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे ज्यादा कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट है नहीं, तो यू कैन इग्नोर. Now, residents to take street to the protest demolition order live for years. Basically, now again, it can be a case study for you how a particular people were living in certain areas and suddenly government order come for the demolition. How will you take the course of action? So you can follow this news from that context. अब इतना ऐसा नहीं है कि ये एक दिन में solve हो जाएगा. How court behaves. So basically, even if you are following the basically headlines, ना, you are able to clear with your doubts. Clarity है, ठीक है? And at the same time, when the people are living, how can you pass the demolition order without a reallocation order? Had it been that people are not living, it is fine. So even the elite judges, those who are sitting over there, they should be pursued like this. My lord, idiots. वायरल मत करना, कोई पता चला कंटेम्प्ट कोर्ट आएगा, मेरे पास पैसा भी नहीं है वकील रखने का. ठीक है, फाइन. यस, क्वेश्चन कृति.
सर जैसे अगर सिमिलर केस स्टडी आती है तो हम इसको कोट कैसे करेंगे?
Never, don't quote this. Just observe this course of action. If it is good, if it gets solved, then you can quote it. The kind of case it is there, it won't get solved so easily. So mark my word, just look for the headlines. That's why I clearly mentioned it.
Okay.
The green cells collected by Delhi government is spent 7 times in 8 years. Okay, so now this is something you can focus upon. Over the 8 years, it collected the environment compensation charge. The Delhi government only disbursed funds from the green cells on 7 occasions, of which 5 instances were the consequence of court orders. Okay, this can be quoted. When you talk about the green budgeting, how to implement green budgeting, you did, you collected the fund through the cess and all. How to utilize that should be made clear. So we need a framework. Again, a good important point for the GS3. Questions can come in this way. What should be SOP? How green budgeting can be involved? How green cess can be improved? Collect तो कर लिया, खर्च कहाँ करें? Scheme launched in जनजातीय गौरव दिवस in Jharkhand. ठीक है, 24,000. What kind of scheme is there? On which front it can be interrelated? Tribalism, a heavy important topic. So scheme पकड़ लो. ठीक है, what kind of scheme it is? What kind of target beneficiary it is? अभी इसमें कुछ ज्यादा होगा नहीं. All you can get certain things 75 PVTG. ठीक है, PVTG क्या? Particularly vulnerable tribal groups. You should remember it. ठीक है, now tribal population have been mentioned कि कहाँ ज्यादा है. Sometimes in prelims question will come up like this. So at least you know कि छत्तीसगढ़ 30%, MP 21%. Sometimes even if you know ना कि MP has less tribal population than the Chhattisgarh, even this will solve your question in the prelims. You will find कि certain facts कहाँ से पूछ लिया तो PCS में आता है. No, it is not like that. It has been mentioned due to news. Certain इतना 24,000 करोड़ रुपए. It is like people are spending 24,000 crore rupees and आपको लगा कि अचानक से फैक्ट क्यों पूछ लिया. Now, India asks UK details on the suspects. IR question, not such important. I will say Khalistani and all. Internal security के perspective से you can write certain. ठीक है. Then mutual legal assistance treaty is there that we have signed. These treaty have been signed for these days only. Why India signed all these treaties? Why suddenly we signed all these treaties? To ensure that in future when we carry out the killings through our raw operatives or some unknown killings, basically the way we do, okay, so that we can have at least the list, those who hamper our missions and all. Now focus on Indo-Pacific. Rajnath holds talks with UK counterpart. Remember Indo-Pacific, China, Indo-Pacific. So whosoever is interested in Indo-Pacific, India is a competitor for them. See from that perspective. Okay. Now you should know certain keywords involved over here. Okay. So in this particular, no such keyword is involved, so you can avoid. I will say avoid. Now फालतू की चीजें ये सब. Now turn on the glass. Basically, if you understand this diagram, your environment is clear. What has happened over there? What kind of issue people are facing? It will help you in the case. Rest अंदर जो भी है वो सब फालतू की बातें हैं. Yeah, how the rescue operation is being carried out. Now submit poll bond details by November 15. DC2 parties. What is poll bond and all? This should be clear. Now this is the topic for the GS2 as well as for the GS4. Transparency issues there, participation issues there. So you can link this topic in either way. ठीक है. Basically context है a 5 judges bench. Second para. Constitution bench. On Supreme Court gave the EC 2 weeks to produce updated data in interim order November 3 while hearing the constitutional challenge to the electoral bond. Basically इसमें जो opaqueness है उसको Supreme Court is asking for to remove. Okay, got it. So think from that perspective. अब you just look at it. मैं आप लोगों को न्यूज़पेपर ये समझा रहा हूँ. Even then, while teaching you how to read newspaper, I'm not taking much time. This way you should read newspaper. People devoting 2.5 to 3 hours to the newspaper, they are actually compromising somewhere. Then editorial is more about the opinion building and all. I will say, hold on, right now, don't read it. Now India's PG students in US up to 63%. Again, something like question comes on NRI and all, you can put it up. Education system, that why PG students up by 63%. They are not getting admissions over here in India. Of course, IAM, not that important for you. 9 including 7K, massive no. MHA extent done on 7 May, the extremist group. They are affiliates for 5 years. Now, after looking this here, bulb should light up and it should say internal security. It can be example over there. If you do not want to remember material extremist group, presence of extremism in the Manipur, as an example itself in one of the questions will help you. ठीक है. Total political page, avoid decision 2023. You need not to read even this. Nothing. Nothing. So while reading newspaper, you should know where to invest your time as well. ठीक है, वो भी बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है basically. Then why PM Rishi Sunak said not of our easing wheat rising price. This can have a good article for your agriculture point of view, which will give you data as well. The global impact of action taken by large exporters of agri commodities. Russia's flooding the world with cheap wheat has softened its prices, while the export curbs by India have done the opposite to rice. ठीक है, that's how we are intertwined with the global economy. You can code these things. Okay, so basically in every para, wherever you get the idea, उसके बाद पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Last para becomes important. Implication for inflation. See, it's my understanding. I too did not read the newspaper in early morning. Okay, but understanding says this para will be important. India's serial inflation average this. You're getting data. based on the latest official consumer price index number that was more than the 4.8.7. Inflation in both rice and wheat are mainly function of domestic production. We are doing domestic production on these two quantities. Okay, these two entities, I will say, sorry. While Russia, okay, it's quite opposite to in edible oils, where India meets roughly 60% of its consumption. Means we are dependent on the foreign countries when it comes to the edible oils. So India imports? Edible oils. Okay, you have the data as well. As said, that last para itself looks good to me. Are you able to get the point that I wanted to make? Wherever analysis is there, आगे का सब बर्बाद है. It is a summing up of whole debate. If you read a particular newspaper for a very long time, you will be able to relate what kind of writer, what kind of person he is, and how he is going to put you forward. ठीक है? Once upon a time, a plan to join Red Sea with Mediterranean through Israel. It can be important from the questions that comes in the prelims. How Red Sea, how linked with this, which all countries. So, इस perspective से if you go more or less, बाकी इस पे you will not get any main specific question. Okay, now a sustainable solution for stubble is to create a market for paddy straw, convert waste to wealth. वन पॉइंटर नथिंग एल्स सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी कहीं मिल जाएगा आपको लिखा हुआ नीति और रीजन स्टेबल वेस्ट टू एड्रेस द प्रॉब्लम क्रिएटिंग अ सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी फॉर सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी वेयर एवर यू कैन क्रिएट any productive use of your waste that will work. Fine, got it. Don't read whole conversation. I will say read 2-3 lines more than enough. कोई question पढ़ लो if you feel that you need to understand the same. Directly go for the questions in such cases. Now, coming to economic active equity funds. What is equity funds? You should know. ठीक है? It will help you in answering certain prelims questions sometimes. Retail inflation fine, नहीं पढ़ने की जरूरत है. Goldman Sachs upgrades Indian shares to the overweight. Why? What is overweight? You should be clear with it. If not, if by chance you got interest in the share market, it will help you over there. So, touch wood, whenever I invest in the share market, I'm able to book the profit only. Reason, UPSC preparation. That's all. Manufacturing growth rose. Okay, 10 major sectors likely to continue momentum. So, which 10 sectors likely to continue momentum? You just focus on it. And how you can utilize the same in your answer. Suppose you someone asks you to say what kind of things that you have to do for the new industrial policy. Suppose you have to come up with the new industrial policy 2.0. Question में पूछ लिया. Now you know 10 sectors which are working good. You know which 4 are not doing good. Mention you have to focus on these 4. That's how you develop the mains वाला attitude ना while reading newspaper or current affairs. It's not that वो 10 दिए वो रट लिए. कई बार वो है जो 4 कम है ना वो इजी याद करना है. For example, 14 sectors are there. 10 you cannot remember. 4 you can remember and recall. Work on those 4 ना. बाकी जो भी 4-5 याद आएंगे लिख देना. That's it. India ADB signs 400 million long pact to build high quality urban infra. Now urban infra, why we have to put it up? Because urbanization is increasing. We have certain projects as well. National infrastructure pipeline, अगर गलती से कभी किसी ने पढ़ाओ. गति शक्ति योजना, if गलती से किसी ने पढ़ाओ. Then all these things, how will be developing? We do not have that kind of money. We are borrowing money from the same. We suddenly had the national, I will say, development financial institution as well. I'm unable to form the name. National Bank for Development of India ऐसा something करके है जो I'm unable to get the exact name. Okay, so वो development bank है, that will fund these things only ना. That's how you interrelate things. In that question, if suppose question comes for the urbanization and the development of the funds, development funds and infrastructure projects, you have to mention all these. Okay, nothing to be worried over here as well. Sports, basically you can get ethics and all, certain good knock from any player, dedication, particular match you can mention if it is about some drastic moment. The way Glenn Maxwell has put up the innings in the recent Australia match, it can be quoted. Perseverance, okay, dedication of towards a duty, okay. So this is how you can put it up, nothing else. Okay. Israeli tanks at the main hospital gate, 100 strapped, leave it, leave it. I think we have done. Within Qatar discusses, Gaza agrees hostages must be released, disturbing goodwill and social harmony. And now social harmony is the keyword. People from the sociology optional background, what do you understand from the same? Something like that? Okay. That's all, I guess. Fine. Okay. So this is it from my side when it is compared to newspaper. Were you guys able to follow what I wanted to teach? In this session, my purpose was basically how you will be utilizing these question data, the facts that you have read in very recently, okay, the 365 and other things that we have read, okay, how it will help you as an individual basically while writing, I'll say, your answers. Okay. Now, because after GS4, I will be going to towards the GS3 and GS2. Okay. Some of you have still not completed the GS4. I will say complete it, complete paper by paper. Those who were able to maintain momentum, good luck for the GS3 as well. Make sure that you complete for the GS3, GS2. GS1 is something that you can do. Okay, well, next 2.5 months will be deciding in your character, that as a person, as a individual, how you develop. Getting a point? Okay, so this was all from my side. Okay, any questions in this regard that you think needs to be put on the recording, as I'll just stop this recording first. No questions? Fine.